This is a presentation of the BKI FKM-FC pressure fire operation and cleaning. This is an additional piece of equipment we'll be using, which is the breading station BT24M, producing a beautiful crisp fried chicken. We'll start with reviewing the pieces. This is the cover, this is the lock knob, and this is the lock crank. To lock down, we'll turn until it's tight and the two knobs line up red to red. To open, we'll reverse the process, push down on the black handle and push the red knob to the back, releasing the claw. The inside of the cover and the gasket should be cleaned each day and wiped down. And also, the gasket should be lubricated at least once a week with a little fry oil. This is the pressure valve. Before cooking, it will be in the white zone. When you start cooking, it will go into the green zone, producing pressure. This is the dead weight and the dead weight cover. And note the tag that's attached to all fryers. Remove clip under dead weight before operating machine. We'll take the dead weight cover off. Remove the dead weight. And then remove the shipping clip and discard. Now we'll put the dead weight back in and put the dead weight cover back on finger tight. And this is a steam relief valve. Once a week during operation, we'll push down to allow a little steam to come out to clear the steam valve. This is the BKI control panel for the FKM-FC. Note the toggle switch. There's position for fry, which is down. Middle position is for off. And the upper toggle is for the filtering system. We're now in the off position. This is a control panel for the FKM-FC with up to 8 programmable menus and 8 locations for identifying each one of the programs. Also, the control buttons for programming, for scanning the program, enter or OK, the temp toggle clear for clearing programs, the hold and also the 9 number, and idle and also the 0 number. When you turn the fryer on, it will list, is there fry oil in the pot? Look, and if there is, hit enter, which will start the process. Inside the door, you'll find the drain control. It's in the closed position now. To go to the open position to drain oil or water from the fry pot, it would be vertical or open. That is now in the closed position. Note the filtration through the pot or through the hose. We will put it in the pot position for cooking. This is the hose socket if we're using a hose for filtration. And this is the condensate catch, which should be emptied and cleaned daily. This is the filter pot with handle. Always handle the filter pot with the handle, as it may be hot. This is the filter pot cover, and it should be on at all times when operating the fryer. Again, using the handle to slide it back in, and you will feel it click in to the patented Quick Connect system on the FKM fryer. On the inside of the door is the ID tag for the fryer with serial numbers and models. There's also a 555 sheet for maintenance, a full manual of operation, an instruction and safety card, full safety operating instructions, and notices on the operation of the fryer. Also, a small orifice and large orifice brush. And this is the hanging area for those two, and they're supplied with the fryer. All fryers are supplied with locking casters to put the lock on, step on the on button, and push down. These are the fuse holders and the red reset button, which is underneath the lip in the fry filter area. To reset the keyboard, touch the red button. This is the reset button on the pump for filtration. Note the red button, and it can be pushed in. It should be pushed in by the end of a screwdriver, as it is rather stiff. This is the chimney of the fryer, and this should be cleaned out every day. Steam and grease are fired into it when the pressure is released by the fryer. This is the basket and how it goes into the fryer. And note always the handle will be down. To lift out, very simply reverse it. And note the clip. There is a hook to rest the basket on once product is pulled out and fried to allow the oil to drip. Back down into the fry pot, and again, note the handle is always down. This is the fry oil level, where you want the oil to be when you're frying, and these are the elements that must be covered for frying. This is the drain that allows the oil to be pumped down into the filtration system and back up. This is a small orifice brush to clean steam and oil out of the smaller hole that feeds the pressure system. And this is the larger orifice brush used to clean the orifice between the dead weight and the pressure valve. This is the filter pot, and again, using the handle to pull it out as it may be hot. And we've disconnected from the quick disconnect. And again, reviewing that this cover should be on at all times of operation of the fryer. Now we'll break down and set up the fry pot, lifting off the cover, noting that the label is the front of the cover. And we ship it with filter paper and filter paper clip, a large crumb catcher, and note the handle on the front denotes the front of the large crumb catcher. The filter tube, and note the clip that engages into the back side of the fry pot, and note the small crumb catcher and the filter. And note this is the cutout for the tube, this is the cutout for the crumb catcher, and obviously this is the handle to be handled at all times. Now to put together the filtration system, the main filter goes directly into the filter paper envelope, and the tube will come out through the hole. Now we're going to fold one corner, the second corner, and then fold over the filter paper on itself, giving a nice tight fit, and then sliding the filter paper clip all the way over the filter paper and the filter, locking small particles out of the filter system. Then the small crumb catcher, and then the filter tube. Push hard in putting it in because there's an O-ring that you must pass to be able to thread it down onto the filter. Tighten, finger tight. And now you've completed it. This is for cleaning or replacing. Now setting the filter assembly into the filter pot and allowing the tube to go into its cutout, making sure that it's straight. Then adding the large crumb catcher. The handle is forward. And lastly, setting the cover on. Label denotes the front. Now it's ready to be reinstalled into the fryer. And all you do is push. You'll feel the click of the quick disconnect. Push and it will seat itself. The components that are supplied with the fryer are full set of insulated gloves, a small and large orifice brush, the pot brush, the element brush, the drain brush, and 3 filter papers, all supplied with the fryer. Additional accessories used in this presentation are the BT24M marinator and breader, and also the LTS landing station. Preparing the fryer for frying. First, you must add oil to within about 1/8 of an inch of the oil level marked on the fryer. Note, this is the oil level mark, and we're just below it. The oil will expand during heating. We'll now close the cover but not lock it down, so it will heat up quicker. Preparing the food on the BT24 breading station is very simple. Piece of chicken, make sure that you pull the skin up so that there's breading all the way through into the breading, press down, toss, and then knock the extra breading off. And we're going to segregate by part because we load the fryer by part. We're folding the wing, as is the best way to fry a wing for consistency. We'll dust and then shake off the extra. Now with the leg again, we're going to pull the skin down into the breading, toss and press, tap for extra breading off, and we're organizing by part. With the thigh, we always break the joint on the thigh before breading, tossed into the breading and pressed, shaken off, and then segregated by part. The breast, try to pull the skin as best possible over the whole piece. Into the breading, push down, toss, push down, and then tap off the extra breading. Once using the breading, you'll have a beautifully ready to fry piece of chicken. Now we'll finish this bucket of chicken, and as you always will, as you fill a full fryer full of chicken, which could be up to 48 pieces of chicken, before going to the fryer. I would turn on the fryer to fry, to allow the oil to heat up correctly for our fry. And notice it's asking, is the pot full? We'll look to make sure. We'll hit enter, which will start the process. And now we'll touch number 1, which is the bone-in chicken. We'll make sure we lift the cover at this point. And now we're ready to go. The oil is at full cook. And number 1, we're loading the thighs, and we're going clockwise, and it's down and away from your body. And the thighs take the longest to cook, so we're doing those first, and you'll notice it's a clockwise motion of dropping the chickens. Now the breasts, number 2, again the clockwise motion. Number 3 is the legs, down and away and clockwise. And lastly will be the wings. After loading it completely, we'll take off our rubber gloves and switch to our insulated gloves. We'll pick up the basket and shake and stir to make sure that everything is separated and the cover is lowered, locked in place, and spun around till the red knob is in line with the red knob. We'll now push to start the timer, and note the pressure is up into the green zone. And note the blinking light and the countdown from 13 minutes has started. We're in the cook process. While it's cooking, make sure you clean your area well of breading and oil. "15 seconds before the chicken is ready, it will start to release steam, and there will be a beep when the chicken has finished. We'll push down and release the pressure, and pushing the red knob all the way to the back and holding on the black handle until the top is all the way up, lifting the chicken and using the clip to hang the basket to make sure that the oil is dripping down into the pot. And we will check 4 pieces of chicken, and the temperature we're going for is 180 degrees Fahrenheit. All of the chicken looks good here. Put the glove back on. Take the hanging handle and the lower handle and dump the chicken into the LTS, hanging the basket back in the area. Now note how beautiful the chicken is, crisp and fresh, beautifully cooked. Programming the fryer. Note, fry is the lower toggle. Note that it's asking you if the fry pot is full. You hit enter for yes. You cannot program the unit without oil in the fry pot. We'll start by hitting the program button and typing in the code of 1712. This is for programming the fryer under the system. Hit enter. First of all, degrees in Fahrenheit or Celsius. We can change the Celsius by just hitting toggle clear, or we can go back to Fahrenheit. It will come set in Fahrenheit. Hit enter. This is the type of fryer. Electric fryers are all pressure, ALF are all auto lift, and gas obviously is gas. We want to go back for the pressure fryer and hit enter under electric. Note the melt cycle, no, that is correct, and it will be shipped that way. The idle, yes, it's programmed, and yes, we want it. This is the number of cooks before the fryer requires you to filter. We're going to choose 4. We're showing you here by toggling out. You can wipe out what was there and pick number 4 and hit enter. We'll get out and hit program. It goes back to the beginning. And now we'll program the cooks. Hitting program, typing in 1724 and enter. Notice the lights lit up on all of the products. We'll pick number 1 to program, and we'll hit enter. And 13 minutes is the correct cook for bone-in chicken, but if you needed to change the time, all you would do is wipe out the time and type in 1, 3, and your zeros are on the idle button, 0, 0. 13 minutes cook, and we'll hit enter. The temperature is set, 325, that is correct. Flex time will constantly be set with the fryer. We do not want straight time, we want flex time. Hit enter. Valve should always be closed. Hit enter. Time for cook 2, we do not program. Hit enter. Pre-alarm 15 seconds before is the notification and steam release before the product is cooked. That's correct. And lastly, we've set the filter cooks at 4, which is correct, and that will carry through all the programs. Hit enter, and we go back to all the lights lit. We're going to choose number 2 now to build the second program. And just as it did before, we hit enter. Time is set for 8 minutes, which is correct for chicken tenders. If we want to change it, we push toggle clear, push 8 and twice on the idle for 8 minutes. Hit enter. We're happy with the temperature of 325. If we're not, we can change it. And hit enter. The time is now saved. We will always use flex time. Hit enter. The valve will always be closed. Hit enter. We will not use the second step of cooking. Hit enter. And we'll always use the pre-alarm of 15 seconds. So we'll hit enter. And we've already set the cooks before filtration at 4. Hit enter. We've built the second program. And for every program after 2, you can build up to 8 the exact same way. Now we're programming the boil out. We hit program. 1, 7, 3, 3. And hit enter. That will immediately start the water boiling to 200 degrees. 1724 is the program product number, and program 1 is now started. And you'll note when you start the program, it says ready, and it will say heat. When it finishes getting to temp, it will beep. And then when you load the product, you'll touch number 1, and you'll go into a cook. And note the time decreasing. To get out of the program, all you would do is hold number 1, and it will revert back to the temperature and ready. We'll now filter the oil in the FKM-FC fryer. First of all, shut off the fryer. We'll use a series of 3 brushes to loosen all the sediment in the fryer oil. First thing, the drain brush we'll use to clean the drain, and always tap the brushes before you take them out of the fry pot area so you have no dripping of oil. Now you use the element brush to go in behind the elements and in between them to clean out any sediment that may be stuck in the elements. And lastly, the pot brush. And this is used for scrubbing under the lip of the pot and the sides to make sure you get all of the burnt-on crusting, and down into the bottom of the pot to circulate all of the built-up sediment in the bottom, and stirring so that gets into the oil so it'll be filtered down through the drain. Now we'll open the drain valve and making sure that we're filtering through the pot on the left-hand valve. Opening the drain, the oil will start to drain into the filter pot. We need to agitate the oil as the oil is going down, stirring so that you get all of the crumbs picked up from the sides and the bottom, and all the sediment down through the drain to filter out before you return the clean oil to the fry pot. Now turning on the filter and making sure the valve is closed, the oil will start to pump up into the fry pot, and it's clean and ready for the next cook. At this point, you want to make sure when the oil fills the fry pot that it goes to the fry level. If it does not, make sure you add fresh oil to the pot. When it's finished filtering, there'll be large bubbles coming through the center of the oil. As you see here, you are now finished filtering. Shut off the fryer. This is the boil out procedure, which should be done once a week. Notice the oil level and the dirtiness of the fry vat. We will clean all of that. First thing you do is make sure that we're through the pot filtration and that we open the drain to drain out the old oil. We're circulating again to make sure all the sediment that can will leave the pot. And we're doing this without the fryer being turned on. Remember, we never pump water through the pump. It's all done with the fryer off. We've removed the filter pot and it's gone to the kitchen for cleaning. We're going to slide a 5-gallon pail underneath the drain. We want to make sure that we close the valve now completely. And we're going to fill the fry pot with water If you have warm water available to you, it will speed up the process a little. Cold is fine. We'll fill up the pot all the way to the oil fill line, making sure that the elements are completely covered with water. We'll be using 8 ounces of BKI boil out liquid into the fryer. We'll turn the fryer on to bring the water to 200 degrees. We will enter the boil out program by hitting program 1733 and enter. That will start the boil out program. Once we set the program, then we'll pour in the 8 ounces of liquid, and this is a 20-minute procedure to bring the water up to temp and assist with brushes for cleaning all the areas of the fryer. This is the element brush, scrubbing behind the elements and in between the elements to clean all the sediment that's built up. Cleaning the drain with the drain brush. And using the pot brush to scrub all areas, removing all of the loose sediment and burnt on crisps. Remember, after finishing this process, you'll need to clean all of your brushes and wash in warm water. Now we shut off the fryer and we'll now drain the liquid. And as we're draining, we'll be agitating to make sure we're removing all of the crisps and the burnt on material with your pot brush. And swirling to make sure there's no buildup of sediment on the bottom of the fryer. Now we'll close the drain. And we're going to fill up the fry pot again. As I said before, using warm water would speed up the process, but cold is acceptable. We'll fill it again all the way to the oil level, making sure that the elements are covered completely. Now we're going to go through the neutralization process using 8 ounces of white vinegar. We need to push the fry program and go to the keyboard and again enter the boil out, which is hit program 1733 and hit the enter, which will start the water boiling again. Once the water has reached temp, put the vinegar in and use the same brushes to clean the same way you did before. This neutralization process is to make sure that all of the chemicals are off all of the surfaces, and the vinegar will take out the last bit of grease that may have attached itself to the walls of the fryer. Cleaning the drain, and with the pot brush circulating around, making sure that everything has the vinegar water neutralizing the surface. Nice scrubbing everywhere. Circulating on the bottom to make sure that you get any sediment or residual buildup off the bottom of the fryer. And this is a 15-minute process. Then you shut off the fryer and dump by opening the valve and draining the water from the fryer. And as you're draining, you're using your pot brush again to circulate the water to make sure that you're getting every space covered. And then finishing draining the water. After finishing this neutralization process, a wipe down of the interior part of the fry pot should be done. And lastly, close the valve. This completes the presentation of the BKI FKM-FC pressure fryer. For more information, please contact BKI directly at customer service 1-800-927-6887. Thank you.